The place that I've chosen to share with you about is a section of the story of Musa alaihi salam, which is mentioned in many, many places in the Quran, but it takes a unique turn in this place. In Surah Ghafir, the way that Allah Azza wa Jal described this story is different. It stands in a unique position. And the beginning ayah that I read to you is that Allah Azza wa Jal sent Musa alayhi salam to Firaun, and he says about that, بِآيَاتِنَا وَسُلْطَانٍ مُبِينٍ, with our ayat and with clear authority. Just to put this in perspective, Firaun was considered a superpower, and his empire was considered the mightiest empire of his time. No military on the earth was willing to challenge the Pharaoh. And they had political alliances with some of the great other civilizations of the world, and the royals and the princes from other nations used to come and get their education from them, from the pharaohs. So the Fara'ina were the superpower of the time, economically, politically, socially. And one of the reasons they built these monuments that are still standing, some of them in Egypt today, is because if anybody would walk by or their ship would pass by or travelers would come by, they would look at those monuments and they would say, we don't want to mess with these people. These people are far too advanced for us to be able to mess with them. And Firaun is described in other places, his entire civilization, as Dhil Autad, people of pegs, of Firaun Dhil Autad. And the reason, lots of commentary on that and al-Mufassirin, but a few things I will share with you. When you have a large military presence or you're a military state, then you have to keep moving your military all over your region. And so everywhere the military goes, they set up a military camp. And the camps are portable. And for you to have portable military camps, you have to peg them. You have to put tents in everywhere you go. And a watid in Arabic is actually a tent, the peg for a tent. And so it has multiple meanings, but one of the meanings, there's actually ishara here, and this is majazi speech, for actually the Firaun who had a massive army that he could mobilize all the time. And it also suggests that he was constantly using his military to control his population. He was using his military to control his population. Allah even describes one of his political strategies. He says, عَلَى فِي الْأَرْضِ وَجَعَلَ أَهْلَهَا شِيَعًا. He maintained very high power in the land, and he made sure that the population is segregated. He made sure that the population is cut apart. الَّبِيبُ مِنَ الْإِشَارَةِ يَفْهَمُ. Right? This was the strategy of Firaun, to keep a certain people like slaves, like less than human, under his government. And when he was doing this, Allah Azza wa Jalla said Musa alayhi salam to him to challenge him, and said, not just that Allah sent him with his ayat, with revelation, with the word of Allah, but also bi sultan mubin. Sultan bima'na dalil. Sultan is burhan, sultan is evidence, but sultan also means authority. Allah sent the truth. The truth is not the same as an army. An army has weapons. An army has presence. An army can attack. An army can kill. An army can make you bleed. But Allah is saying that what was given to Musa alayhi salam itself was an authority. The truth itself was an authority, and he was sent with that authority to Firaun. And now we see what comes next. إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَقَارُونَ. Three people. Allah didn't just mention Firaun. He said he sent this authority to the Pharaoh, to Firaun, the king, the government. Firaun represents the government. Haman represents his military strategist. So Haman also. And then Qarun, which represents, he had some people working for him from within the people he enslaved. He enslaved Bani Israel. Bani Israel were the slaves of the pharaohs. But some people within Bani Israel were paid lots of money to keep an eye on their own people, and Firaun allowed them to become rich. All the other people in Bani Israel were poor. But Qarun, he's a millionaire. How is he a millionaire when his own people are all slaves? Bagha alayhim. He was a spy, and he was a sellout against his own people. That's how he got rich. That's how he got rich. So now Musa alayhi salam's message is going to the authority that enslaves the nation. It's also a message directed to his military units, and is also a message directed to the hypocrites and the spies within the believing community, all three of them, all at the same time. إِلَى فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَقَارُونَ. And they together came up with the first response strategy. Again, remind you, this is the mightiest empire in the world at the time. Nobody questions them. They have immunity. They can do whatever they want. So if they want, they can just kill the Israelites and be done with it. But they actually benefit. They want to use the suffering of the Israelites, and they have other political benefits coming from them. So they have to keep them alive. It's an inconvenience, but they have to keep them alive because they use them as slaves also, right? And they want to maintain a certain narrative about themselves. So it's a political strategy. Let's keep them. If he had it his own way, he would be done with them. But he can't do that immediately. So what's the next best thing? We can't take them out militarily. We just want to make sure our own people and anybody who visits us, the world sees them a certain way. How should they see them? The strategy was فَقَالُوا سَاحِرٌ كَذَّابٌ. Musa is a magician. He's a liar. These people are liars. They can't be trusted. The people he represents are liars. They can't be trusted. There's an entire media propaganda that Firaun created to make sure everybody believes that actually Firaun and his people are the victims. And the Israelites are the real threat. Banu Israel and Musa alayhi salam are the real threat. وَيَذْهَبَ بِطَرِيقَتِكُمُ الْمُثْلَى. No, these people, they want to take over your land. يُرِيدُونَ أَن يُخْرِجَكُم مِّنْ أَرْضِكُم بِسِحْرِهِ. He would even tell his own people, his own government, he would say, these people are dangerous. They want to kick you out of your land. Watch out for them. You should tell me how to deal with them. And he built this entire propaganda machine to make sure his own people also believe that those people, those Israelites, those guys are a threat. They're dangerous. And Allah Azza wa Jal describes in Surah Al-Qasas, even though we're in Surah Ghafir right now, He describes even though Firaun had power, he had the mightiest military, he had all of the control, and he had put these people in encampments. They lived in what could be described, if you look at the Israelite description that's found in the Quran, also found in the Bible, you would call that an open-air prison. That's what you would call it. That's where he was keeping them. And you know what Allah says about that? Allah says that Allah had a plan for him. And He said, وَنُرِيَ فِرْعَوْنَ وَهَامَانَ وَجُنُودَهُمَا مِنْهُمْ مَا كَانُوا يَحْذَرُونَ. Allah wanted to show Firaun and Haman and their militaries the thing they were scared of all along. Allah wanted to show them what they were afraid of. That ayah is fascinating because now Allah is telling us Firaun is terrified. You're the one with the army. They're the ones that are slaves. You're the one with all the weapons. They're the ones that get killed. They're the ones in the camp. And you're the one in the biggest palace on earth. You have all the security. You own all the media. And you're scared? You can't go to sleep at night. You're having nightmares. This is inside intelligence only Allah can give you. Nobody would know. The most powerful man on earth at the time is terrified when he goes to sleep. Of the people that are supposedly powerless, he's afraid of them. مَا كَانُوا يَحْذَرُونَ. So now, coming back to these ayat, I just want you to understand what this khutbah entirely, the entire khutbah, is just about understanding the strategy of Firaun. He's terrified. He has to deal with this population. What's he going to do? Allah gave us his strategy in the Quran so that we know how every Firaun that comes after him will be. This is a blueprint in the Quran for every Pharaoh that will come after that Firaun. This is not just a asatirul awwaleen, right? Fihi dhikrukum. It's talking about you, your situation. So now, فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ بِالْحَقِّ مِنْ عِنْدِنَا قَالُوا. So when the truth came, and it was clear that he's doing wrong, because Musa alayhi salam came, one of the first demands Musa alayhi salam gave to him was, أَنْ أَرْسِلْ مَعَنَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل. You need to let these people go. They're not your slaves. They're the slaves of Allah. You cannot keep them as slaves. You cannot keep them in these encampments. That was one of the first demands of Musa alayhi salam. And when the demands became clear, what became the response of Firaun? Allah says, describing his response, اقتلوا أبناء الذين آمنوا معه. Kill the children of anybody who believes in this cause with him. Kill their kids. We don't care about killing them. We want to break their spirit by killing their children. Target the children. Target the kids. And you know what? Keep enough women alive so they keep having kids. So in case they're thinking about fighting back again or standing up for themselves again, then kill more kids. اقتلوا أبناء الذين آمنوا معه واستحيوا نساءهم. It's part of his military strategy to break the spirit of these people. He could have just said, kill them. Kill them. No. Part of the direct military campaign will be, we have to make sure children die. That's his policy. اقتلوا أبناء الذين آمنوا معه واستحيوا نساءهم وما كيد الكافرين إلا في ضلال. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have said at the end of this ayah, وَمَا كَيْدُ فِرْعَوْنَ إِلَّا فِي ضَلَالٍ. ولم يقل ذلك. قال وما كيد الكافرين إلا في ضلال. فلم يقيد الآية بفرعون سبحانه وتعالى. قال عند نهاية الآية وما كيد الكافرين من الآن إلى الأبد إلا في ضلال. And the scheme of disbelievers will always go to waste. Always go to waste. And Allah is now telling us that this strategy of Firaun will not die here. There will be other Firauns that will come. And they will employ this strategy. And in the end, that strategy will always fail. وَمَا كَيْدُ الْكَافِرِينَ إِلَّا فِي ضَلَالٍ. Now look at this. When even that strategy wasn't working, it's still not, you're not able to suppress this voice. And these people are not leaving their faith. They're not letting go. They're not letting go of hope. Why are they still hopeful? I killed their kids. Why are they still hopeful? Why are they still following Musa alayhi salam? Why are they still following their prophet? We don't understand this. So he says, we have to have a final solution. ذَرُونِي أَقْتُلْ Musa. Let me kill their leader. Let me kill their imam. Let me kill their scholar. Let me kill anyone. And right now they look up to Musa, so let me start with killing Musa. Even though Musa technically is an official citizen of the Egyptian government of the time, so he's a bona fide citizen. He's not considered a slave because he was raised among the royalty. But right now, this is such a threat that even if you belong to our own country, we will have to kill you because you're too influential. Because we need to silence you. Even voices from within the country need to be silenced. Let me start with killing Musa. It'll send a message to our own country. Nobody's safe. You better learn to shut up. You better learn to shut up. Firaun policy. And then he makes what you could consider a press release. You know, Firauns make press releases all the time, from the old times too. Here's the press release he gives. إِنِّي أَخَافُ أَنْ يُبَدِّلَ دِينَكُمْ أَوْ أَنْ يُظْهِرَ فِي الْأَرْضِ الْفَسَادِ. If we keep letting these people go and we keep letting Musa go, he might end up changing your religion. He might radicalize you. He might make you an extremist. He might convert you to this barbaric cause. And if he does that, there's going to be corruption in the country. We have to save the nation. Our nation is already perfect. You know what perfect is in Arab? One of the words for perfection is al-muthla. يعني التأنيث من الأمثل. And what is that? That you have other people from other countries, they look at us and say, oh my God, they're the best. We're the best. Everybody gives our example. And this Musa and this Harun and this religion of theirs and anybody who follows them, these people are so dangerous, they will destroy our national identity. Our national identity is the best. If you love your country, you must destroy these people. And especially the ones that are loudest among them. Start with the loudest voice. Kill them first. That will break their spirit. If their kids couldn't break their spirit, then let their leaders, their scholars, their activists, and in this case their prophet, kill him first. Get him out of the way. Then what are they going to do? They'll have no leaders. Then what's going to happen? Then they'll learn to be the slaves that they are. You know, eventually Firaun had enough. He said, you know what? We just need to do a ground invasion. That's what he said. And in Surah Al-Shu'ara, when he said this, he actually made an announcement to his army. He gathered his soldiers and he wanted to give them a motivational speech. Motivational speech, because they're about to go meet an enemy. Now, you know what? When you're about to go meet a powerful enemy, then you make a speech about how they may be more powerful than us, but we will fight back and we will fight for justice. But they're not going after a more powerful enemy. They're going after civilians. They're going to go after the Israelites. This is the Pharaoh versus the Israelites civilian population. And the rationale is, even if all of them don't believe, some of them believe, that's enough for us as a justification to kill all of them. The rest of these Israelites are just human shields. Let's get rid of all of them. So what's the speech that he gives? Surah Al-Shu'ara. إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ لَشِرْذِمَةٌ قَلِيلُونَ. These are a pathetic, powerless, useless group of people. وَإِنَّهُمْ لَنَا لَغَائِظُونَ. And they have enraged us. Aren't you angry? He's making his soldiers angry. We got to get rid of these insects, these animals. We have to clean our country from them. وَإِنَّا لَجَمِيعٌ حَاذِرُونَ. And we will take every precaution we can this time. We will make sure the plan is fully executed. This is the speech he's giving to his own army. This is just a small problem. This is just a small group of people. Let's just get rid of this problem once and for all. Let's go in there and get them. And so this is his speech in Surah Al-Shu'ara. Now I come back. One, he's telling his people, because if you let these people go, the nation will never be safe. He's letting these people know these people are a threat. Because of them, there's corruption and violence in the land. So I'm doing this. I'm killing them because that's what's good for the country. So if you love your country, you will join me in killing them. He made the genocide a national cause. A national cause. Allah describes in the Quran, زَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. The devil makes the most evil things look like something beautiful. I imagine he would have given a speech and said, Egypt has a right to defend itself. And we're going to defend ourselves against this Islamic threat of Moses and his followers. We must go in there and eradicate this threat. It is too much. It has gone on for too long. We have tolerated this for too much. Enough is enough. We will take every precaution we can. وَقَالَ رَجُلٌ مُؤْمِنٌ مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ. And actually before that, وَقَالَ مُوسَى إِنِّي عُذْتُ بِرَبِّي وَرَبِّكُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ مُتَكَبِّرٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُ بِيَوْمِ الْحِسَابِ. Musa alayhi salam responds to this public announcement that genocide is coming and said, I seek the refuge of my master and your master from every arrogant tyrant that does not believe in the day where they have to stand trial. I seek Allah's refuge. I seek my Rabb's refuge. And He's not just my Rabb, He's your Rabb too, no matter how much you're in denial of it. That's what he tells Firaun. Time for my khutbah has run out, but I'll just tell you one last thing. There were people inside the Pharaoh's own administration who couldn't take it anymore. There were people living in Egypt that saw that we have enslaved a population. And it's wrong. And I know if we speak up, we might get arrested too. We might even get killed and nobody will find out how. That might happen too. But one of them who was hiding his faith and he was keeping his conscience hidden all this time, a time came where even he spoke up. It's called Nouman Ali Firaun, very famously. And he gave a long speech. His speech is really powerful. And I encourage you, because the time is up for this khutbah, I encourage you to really go through the entire speech in Surah Ghafir. What did he say? Why is his speech so important that Allah put this in the final word to humanity? Why is this so important? I'll just give you one thing from his speech. He says, أَتَقْتُلُونَ رَجُلًا أَنْ يَقُولَ رَبِّيَ اللَّهِ. You're going to kill someone only because they believe in Allah. They say, my master is Allah. وَجَاءَكُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ. And all the clear evidences have come to you from your Rabb. وَإِنْ يَكُ كَاذِبًا فَعَلَيْهِ كَذِبُهُ وَإِنْ يَكُ صَادِقًا يُصِبْكُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي يَعِدُكُمْ. Here's the ending that I want to discuss with you. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَهْدِي مَنْ هُوَ مُسْرِفٌ كَذَّابٌ. Allah will never guide. And guidance has many meanings. One of them is just spiritual guidance. The other is Allah will never let the plan reach its fruition. Whose plan will never reach fruition? Anyone who does excessiveness, who responds to something with excess, if the Pharaoh will say, if they killed one of ours, we're going to kill 1,000 of their kids. And we're going to smile about it. This is Musrif. And then when we do it, instead of saying we're doing something excessive, we're going to tell the world that we are actually just defending ourselves, and this is the least. It's very unfortunate, but this has to be done. This is the only solution. Kadhab. Allah says Allah will never guide the scheme of anyone who is musrif and kadhab. And this is how Allah saved the Israelites, the followers of Musa alayhi salam. This is a story not about the Muslims of today. This is not a story about the followers of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a story of the children of Israel, who were enslaved and who were kept in that captivity by a terrible tyrant, and how Allah guided us to what tyrants forever will do, so they and us and everybody else can learn the formula of tyrants. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم.